Good evening, Dhamma friends. I would like to welcome you all to this Sutta study class. Today is 2022 March 26, which is Saturday. We are going to begin this evening Sutta study class with wholesome blessings in mind. While I welcome you for this Sutta study session, I just want to make the note that may these blessings be a help for all these humans who suffer from various reasons and also other animals. With that loving kindness in mind, our purpose in this Sutta study class is to bring more Dhamma that helps individuals to cultivate the noble qualities for enlightenment. If you have that intention in mind, you definitely bring your mind into the perfect places of the Dhamma in you so that you can develop your mind. Perhaps you don't hear new points of Dhamma, new elements of Dhamma in this session, but anyway, whatever you hear would be something you heard and you confirm what you have heard before so that meritorious powers you develop help you sustain your skillful qualities. With that in mind, let's begin today's Sutta study. Let me recite the Namo Tassa 3 times in Pali and also in English to pay our due respect to the Supreme Buddha. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the fully enlightened One. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the fully enlightened One. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the fully enlightened One. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. To begin with, I just want to thank Derek for selecting today's sutta. He was able to find a sutta about Samatha and Vipassana and send it to me during the week, and I was not able to anyway send it to you until yesterday due to various activities at the temple. Sometime I find time very late for certain important things. Anyway, thank you, Derek, for selection of the discourse, and Dr. Pial also sent some notes, but I was not able to share that. Sorry about that. Anyway, we discussed the sutta for you to get the sutta's content as it is, so that you don't miss anything of this sutta. According to the email you received, the sutta we discussed today is Yuganatha Sutta. In English, it could call in conjunction or intendant, whatever translation would be appealing to you, you may take it. So this discourse is recorded in Anguttara Nikaya, section number 4, and the sutta number 170. So this sutta basically talks about the ways of practice that one get closer into nirvana. In other words, there are karmasthana, Buddha talks about the way how one can train his or her mind to taste sila, samadhi, and panya, so that they could get closer, they get clear about the path. And when one practices the path as distinctly explained by the Buddha, we know the fact that what happened to those people, they are reaching those nibbanic experience. Though this discourse is short one, it is one of the famous sutta in Dhamma analysis, because it talks about the importance of samatha and also vipassana as paths to practice the Noble Eightfold Path together as well as individually. And the fourth factor is really interesting, and we can see which way one can practice the Dhamma. If not, he or she practice Samatha and Vipassana as avenues to enter to the Noble Eightfold Path. I think it is better for us to read the discourse into a certain extent and open up the discussion for everyone else in the group. I have the Pali version as well as English translation, and this is how it begins. On one occasion, the Venerable Ananda was dwelling at Kosambi in Gosita's park. There, the Venerable Ananda addressed the bhikkhus. Here, we do not see like the previous sutta, Attakanagara Sutta. You don't see any indication about the Buddha's existence. And in this case, we can find many discourses here in Anguttara Nikaya where there is no Buddha, about any mention of the Buddha's presence. I go to the beginning of the section. Yeah, we do not find. But in some discourses, we have such things that either Bhikkhu Ananda or Sariputta or any other monks start the discourse directly with such encounters of different individuals. So Venerable Ananda was living at Kosambi in Gosita's park. In Pali, it's called Kosamba Nagarang. It is famous in Theravada culture, this city. So Venerable Ananda addressed the bhikkhus. What he said was, friends, whatever bhikkhu or bhikkhuni has declared the attainment of arahantship in my presence has done so by these four paths, or by a certain one among them. Which four? So today we heard a lot of attainments of a lot of individuals into different stages of enlightenment from Sri Lanka. It's a huge cry of different people. So that it is better for us to investigate these Dhamma facts in line with the Buddha's teaching. That is one important thing of this discourse for today. So Venerable Ananda said that if anyone declare their attainment in front of me, which does not mean not only in front of me, if he heard about anything like that, it could be one of these four ways that they said that we practice one of these four paths and attain to enlighten. So what is the first one? It is said like this. Here a bhikkhu develops insight proceeded by serenity. What is the first one? Bhikkhu samatha pubbangam vipassanang bhaveti. Bhikkhu develops insight proceeded by serenity. So the bhikkhu or bhikkhuni who practice Dhamma take vipassana, insight meditation, as the starting point, and later he or she finds concentration, I would say experience or samadhi. As he is developing insight proceeded by serenity, the path is generated. So first he started with vipassana or insight meditation technique, or I would say the subject of meditation he takes belongs to vipassana, insight. And when he continues to develop the qualities based on vipassana, he of course experienced that one-pointedness of mind, serenity of mind, calmness of mind, which means the presence of samadhi is there in his mind. And by having both these two, what exactly he does first? he clears the path. He clears where he should go and what he needs to be, what he or she needs to be done in terms of either attainment to Sotapanna, Sakudagami, Anagami, or full enlightened state. So first, that is what we need to understand first. So we take the Vipassana object. For example, we can say anicca, perception of impermanence, perception of dukkha, perception of anatta, or any other subject similar to that. So we take it. So it means at the very beginning, with that meditation subject, you may consider that this is impermanent, unsatisfactory, and non-self. This is subject to dying. This is subject to decay. So you look at the fundamental nature of what you take for your meditation. That is called Vipassana technique, Vipassana object, Karmasthana. So when you do that, your mind gets into calmness, which means the five hindrances is temporarily suppressed, temporarily gone. So no, so that's what happened. That's how serenity or samadhi or calmness, one-pointedness, whatever word you use, it's fine. That mental peaceful state come into effect because your mind is getting away from those busy nature, unwholesome state. So you are coming to a safe place. So that you see that in order to stand on the right path strongly, you have to have some sort of peaceful mind. That's why Buddha said in Chula Hatti Padopama Sutta in Majjhima Nikaya, the one who practices jhana actually begins the Noble Eightfold Path in a very profound and important way. And properly he begins his training on the Noble Eightfold Path. In order to see the Buddha as the Buddha, you at least get rid of five hindrances temporarily so that the calm mind shows you what the Buddha said and how the Buddha is and what kind of changes happen to you in terms of getting into noble discipleship. So I think that is a very remarkable point that we should understand here. Then he pursue this path, develop it, and cultivate it. As he is pursuing, developing, and cultivating this path, the fetters are abandoned and the underlying tendencies are uprooted. So he first clears the path, and then he cultivate it, develop it, and practice it so that slowly, gradually, or at once, depending on the qualities of individuals, destroy the fetters, 10 fetters, and at the same time, the underlying tendencies such as Vichikichanusaya, Kama Raganusaya, Bhava Raganusaya, Avijjanusaya, those are Pali terms for underlying tendencies. So they are also gone. Here it means they are full arahantship, full enlightenment. But it for some people it could happen other stage of enlightenment as well. So now the first path that Venerable Ananda explained here is said clearly. You take an object to concentrate your mind, and that is inside object. So as a result, you have samadhi also, and then clears the path very clearly. In Vipassana Jnana, this is called Magga Magga Jnana Darsana Visuddhi. So you are understanding what is path for enlightenment and what is not. That clarity about the path is coming to the particular person when with this training. So to us, it means that those people who take the subject of meditation may not be clearing the path yet, but when they practice meditation on the subject they take, and slowly with the instruction of teacher, they become certain on what they practice. So that is the first one. Then we go to the second one. First one in Pali, I would say Samatha Pubbangama Vipassanang Bhaveti. That is how we turn it in Pali. Second one, again, a bhikkhu develops serenity proceeded by insight. So the path he takes is Samatha technique, Samatha object of meditation, and later he turned his attention to insight, which means, for example, we take meditation on kindness. So we develop that loving kindness in mind that appeal us very much, and also our presence would be interesting for everybody else, because the way we associate others would be very pleasant, very friendly. So having trained our mind with calmness, samadhi for a longer period, people, bhikkhus and bhikkhunis, even lay people, start training their mind to absorb the reality of life and mind and body and everything, namely anicca dukkha anatta. So their way of cultivating such qualities would be later, because their path is taking serenity. Just like somebody do not take the highway to go to somewhere, first they drive through on local roads, and when there is the time come to take the highway, they take it to go faster to the destination. So first they take serenity, and then over the course of practice, they found the path which is ultimate to go into enlightenment. As he is developing serenity proceeded by insight, the path is generated. See, that statement is there. The path, perfect path, is found by somebody when they actually started the training either with samatha or vipassana. He pursues this path, develops it, cultivates it. As he is pursuing, developing, and cultivating this path, the fetters are abandoned and the underlying tendencies are uprooted. So the beginning would be different, but the results is the same. In other words, the way you started the training, the path would be different, but you all and we all come to a point where we do the same thing, right? So that the results we get is the enlightened state. So no matter which meditation subject you take, what you have to do is to deal with the fetters. You cannot deal with the fetters unless you overcome hindrances. I think 2-3 weeks ago we discussed the point in a short form that nobody can attain to any stage of enlightenment unless he or she knows the way to suppress hindrances. Without dispelling those negative emotions from mind, nobody can get into even so one. Then the question that many people asked in different discussion is that, Bante, people attain to Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami, even into Arahant stage while listening to Dhamma. Do we see whether they overcome hindrances, like those individuals who sit for meditation and overcome hindrances? I would I added that those who attain to Sotapanna while they listen to Dhamma sermon, of course experience samadhi, and not like those people who attain to first jhana, second jhana, and third jhana, but the quality of samadhi is there in their mind, so that they can they actually attain to a stream winning position. So here, no matter which way you begin, you have to experience each elements of the Noble Eightfold Path, including Samadhi section and Panya section, to go into that level where you see the path clearly, and then the fetters broken fetters are broken down, and also underlying tendencies according to the level of practice of the Noble Eightfold Path. So far, we learned two aspects, as Venerable Anand explained. The first one begins with Samatha Pubbangama Vipassana. Second one is Vipassana Pubbangama Samatha. Now we go to the third. Third is, again, a bhikkhu develops serenity and insight in conjunction. So together, we practice Samatha and Vipassana together. As he is developing serenity and insight in conjunction, the path is generated. He pursues this path, develops it, and cultivates it. As he is pursuing, developing, and cultivating this path, the fetters are abandoned and the underlying tendencies are uprooted. So I didn't explain the number of fetters and also underlying tendencies, assuming that you know, but anyway, let me tell you them. Sakkaya Ditti, Vichikicha, Silabbata Paramasa, Kamaraga Patika, Ruparaga, Aruparaga, Manuddha, Tavijja. In many discussions, we utter these 10 fetters accordingly. So here, Sakkaya Ditti means wrong view about self. Keep in mind that wrong view about self. There would be a right view about us, about oneself. But this is called wrong view. Sakkaya Ditti. Actually, personality view is one translation, and wrong view about personality is another. And it is a view anyway. In Buddhism, when we comes to deep analysis of Buddha's teaching, there would not be view. There would not be view on anything, because ditti is unbroken. When one attains to full enlightenment, he doesn't have, or she doesn't have any view. But below that, before that, even Anagami has some views. We got a question from Derek. Let me read it. Kind sir, is there an example to examples to meditation topic and practice that would equate to practice intended? Yeah, I think let me explain you that. That's a very good question, Derek. I would share with you the experience from my meditation, and then go into other examples. I usually see any Satipatthana meditation. Actually, all kinds of meditation are to practice Satipatthana. But what I mean by saying that is those subcategories of Kaya Anupassana, Vedana Anupassana, and Chitta. They are, for me personally, is both Samatha and Vipassana. For example, when I take the parts of the body, body hair, head hair, teeth, nails, skin, and then we go into inside of the body with the parts. So you begin with those body parts. And I would start in my way that I could see the impersonal nature of these body parts at the very beginning. I would analyze them as elements, because these 32 body parts are considered, 20 of them are about solidity, Patavi Dhatu, and the other 12 or 11 is about Apo Dhatu. So other two elements like air and heat are different. And these 32 body parts are categorized into first two elements. So I see this body is only element. So I take the subject of meditation subject 32 body parts, which is a Samatha technique according to Visuddhimagga, according to other sources. But you could observe it as elements, and as again elements meditation is also in the Satipatthana. So it could be Vipassana technique because you see the fundamental nature of physical body, physical aspect. So I would consider, I would do both serenity and insight together there, and it's easy for me. Actually, if my way of practicing Noble Eightfold Path is this third one, Yuganadha, both together or in conjunction. That is more feeling for me. And when I read the introductory, not introductory, at the end of each section of Satipatthana categories, we have this statement. Atti kayotiva panassa satipachipatita. It means, Buddha said, there is this physical body, there is this feeling aggregates, atti vedana supana, atti chitte, there is this mind, there is this dhamma. So at this moment, the meditator should think that I use this body, if we rely on to the Kayanupassana, as only a body. As soon as you take this fact into your mind, that there is only a body, you have taken a part of Vipassana as well as Samatha. With that insight, you have actually bring the seed of Samadhi as well as Panya together. That is one way to bring Yuganadha practice into application. So you consider that this body, as soon as you sit on the cushion, you take that initial mindfulness or awareness throughout the body, and you can see the body as a human body. It's me. It's okay. With the Samatha technique, you don't go far into investigation. This is only a human body, and it's me sitting on the cushion under the tree or in the Sunyagara. So slowly you watch in-breath and out-breath with regard to Anapanasati, so that you go on that for a certain period until you make sure that your mind is settled. So that is definitely Samatha technique. But one can begin that meditation together with Vipassana by applying this. The air is, the in-breath is an air element. Out-breath is an air element. The both breaths goes through the tunnel, and it is solidity. The nose is solidity, and the heart and the lungs and this physical body is survived. So you can see that it is only a body, it's only elements. So at the very beginning of Anapanasati meditation, we can have, but we have no much information in the primary sources with examples how one can do both together. But throughout the entire Tripitaka, it is indirectly saying that this is how both Samatha and Vipassana could be done together. So in answering the question, if I take another examples, yeah, you accept the fact that you are here, and suppose you have a dead body of a human or an animal in front of you, and you may consider that I am here and there is another physical body over here. So at the very beginning, you don't go to deeper aspect of any insight, like saying that this is an element, this is only a body, and that is also a body, and so forth. But you consider, I am dying like this, I will be dying like that, and what happened to my body? Same thing. So you begin the practice of meditation conventionally by agreeing to conventional truth. But at a certain point, you feel that your mind is settled and you can apply the theory of impermanence, dukkha, and anatta into what you observe, so that you really begin the Vipassana meditation. So that what we are talking is how we having both Samatha and together at the very beginning. That is what this question is about. So with the parts of meditation, with the elements, and also with that statement, and there are other ways we can do it. one last thing I want to share with regard to the question. Sometimes I do loving kindness meditation in such a way. I practice the idea that this is me, and I see the element, the nature of elements in me, and I see the six sense medias, and so I think that I observe that I'm still not done the training completely, so that I deserve loving kindness myself. I need loving kindness, self-loving kindness. As you are not done the training completely to the full enlightenment, you better love yourself. And then, so basis of loving kindness meditation is then type of Vipassana and as well as Samatha. So I do that. I don't know whether you understand what I'm saying, but what I'm saying is that I have made some modules for me to ease my practice, and that should be done by everyone. We do not know how many ways of approaches to how many different ways of practicing Samatha and Vipassana during time of the Buddha, even in the later period. It is individuals' Dhamma knowledge and experience to find easy ways and different ways, right? And I practice Vipassana and Vipassana meditation while I'm driving, while I'm in the car, while I'm in the plane. One particular moment that I do is when I sit on the seat and put the seat belt, and when many people talk about different ways, different things with their phone before they put into airplane mode, I close my eyes and do my meditation. There would be a chance of getting down during this trip, and it's fine, because as long as I keep my mind on noble qualities, it would be okay. But then again, I remember the other people, they may not be in that mindset, and if they were with greed, hatred, and ignorance, what happened to them? So I have compassion for them, I have loving kindness for them, and I keep a smiley face with those people around me, and also a hostess. So I produce loving kindness for me, and if possible, share them with others. And at the same time, I see the impermanence, unsatisfactoriness, and non-self of this life, and especially when air turbulence happens. So you feel that aggregate of feeling very much. You don't need to wait until that kind of things happen to be mindful on feeling, but easy ways to get in. So I have created some personal ways of getting into Samatha and Vipassana, as it is my way of practicing. I think you understand what I'm saying. So, Derek, if I did not answer your questions, you can write it again here. So that's what I can share. We can practice Samatha and Vipassana together if we understand what Vipassana and what Samatha is. And there are beautiful Dhamma talks in the YouTube about Samatha and Vipassana. For the moment, I cannot remember names of those monks and lay people. So and a lot of books are there about Samatha and Vipassana. Unfortunately, I could not bring you anything today because of schedule lifestyle for me here. Anyway, Samatha and Vipassana should be understood very well. In different discourse, I explained that Samatha is to bring your mind into peaceful state, and Vipassana is to see through. If you take the first Samatha and Vipassana. But when you practice Vipassana, those people should have some taste for it. Otherwise, it's not encouraging, it's difficult. If I give an example, many people, I think, fit into Samatha first and then Vipassana, because many individuals who knows about the Buddha, who wish to attain nirvana, have not done basic training. Samatha could be extended to even to sila, even to way of speaking, even to way of doing things. Because if you cannot speak politely, pleasantly, and truth, samatha could not be practiced as it is, because your mind is producing more unwholesomeness with abusive words, with untruth that you speak, so that samma vacha could be done as a part of samatha, and samma kamma, the right action should be there, and then right livelihood should be there. Then if we make sure the sila section in such a way, that person can actually apply samma vayama, right effort, which has 4 sections, and then right mindfulness could be practiced more effectively, and samma samadhi would be there as a result of. And part of samadhi and samma sankappa should be there as well. We have discussed this. So samatha is to take our mind into peaceful state, right? For example, if you see a pond which is muddy, you cannot see the depth of the pond. So you wait some time until the mud sink down to the bed of the floor of the pond, so that you can see the pebbles, you can see the plants, you can see other objects under the water. So then you can decide either to take them or to disregard. Similarly, if your mind is imbued with sensual pleasures, ill will, and other unwholesome states, how could you see that peaceful state? You are not in control of your senses, of your mind, so that you cannot do much about what the Buddha said. So the first, you have to make sure that you have a peaceful state, so that you recite a gatha, you recite a discourse just to bring your mind, or you get out of usual conversation, so and stay in isolation, so that way also you can bring your mind into a samadhi state. There are many ways, so many people can do it in the first part. Then they should learn how to direct their attention into impermanence, unsatisfactory, and non-self. I would say that you don't need the theoretical understanding too much about it, but with instruction of someone who has done, you can do it well, and then you learn yourself how to do it. So that is perfect for many people. But there are some individuals who can start the training with Vipassana. It's hard but possible, and so they overcome hindrances by that way. So that is what I want to share. Let me go into the last one also, then we can have a discussion. Again, the fourth one, fourth one is, I would explain you the 10 fetters as well as underlying tendencies. That's the way I was talking when Derek asked the question. Anyway, I will finish this and come to that 10 fetters and underlying tendencies. Bhikkhu's mind is seized by restlessness about the Dhamma. But there comes an occasion when his mind becomes internally steady, composed, unified, and concentrated. Then the path is generated in him. He pursues this path, develops it, and cultivates it. As he is pursuing, developing, and cultivating this path, the fetters are abandoned and the underlying tendencies are uprooted. So again, a bhikkhu's mind is seized by the restlessness about the Dhamma. In Pali, it is called Dhammudacca Viggahita Chitta. Dhammuddacca Viggahita Manasang, sorry, Manasang Hodi. So, Eten sama yantan chittang ajjatteva santittati sannisidati ekodi hoti samadhi. What do you mean by this Dhammuddacca Viggahita? It's called cease by restlessness about Dham. To me, some people learn about the Dhamma. They also write books, articles, and they are very, very, very good in Dhamma. However, they do not know even to bring samadhi into mind, even for fraction of a second. They do not know how to meditate. They do not know what to do in sitting posture. They would speak about satipatthana in length, but they are unable to, they haven't done any meditation. They haven't done any particular practice of samatha or vipassana. However, they are knowledgeable. However, they are talking about the Dhamma and feed others with the Dhamma too. So therefore, their mind is restless, their mind is overthinking, and of course, what they have is knowledge. Theoretical basis is always there for them. And there is a point, there is a silver line for them that they found Samatha and Vipassana depending on conditions. Because everybody experience aging, jara, decay, and death could happen to any one of the family, or any damage could happen to himself or herself, so that that knowledge could be applied as an experience. And they, since they have knowledge about Dhamma, they would quickly get into the practice. They would find the path. To me, in each occasion, Venerable Ananda clearly said that Maggang Sanjayati, which means they come to the path is generated. That is a powerful statement here. Until you have that mental state, I should continue this practice. I should live up to that. There won't be any progress. Let me tell you some examples. Some people listened to the Buddha and understood that this life with much duties and never-ending earnings is nothing, is not giving us happiness. So we should go out of this life into homelessness, which means as a mendicant or bhikkhu or bhikkhuni, and they became bhikkhunis and bhikkhunis now, and they started training their mind into peaceful state. Early stages of their training as novice or high ordained monks, they did not have that mental state. They strive on following rudiments of meditation. And at a point, they found that happiness. They found that intriguing point of the Noble Eightfold Path. That is called Maggang Sanjaya. So many Buddhists, I don't think I am saying untruth here. Many Buddhists have not come to this level, Maggang Sanjaya, where if one Maggang Sanjaya, if one finds the proper path, that practice of Dhamma would be the main interesting thing for them. It doesn't mean that they don't do jobs. They work according to what they have to do in lay life, but they are interesting, very profound experience they have is the practice in Dhamma. They find enough time for it because they have found the path. It is a totally individual mental state. You make sure that you understand the Sammaditthi, Samma Sankappa, and each path factors, and experience it, so that there is nothing interesting but this Noble Eightfold Path. They may not be able to find any joy of sensual pleasures. at all. Interestingly, they do not go to drink, they do not go to dance, sing. It happened to them that they become a part of it sometime, but they are personally not enjoying their senses over these mundane things because they have found the path. They have found the path. One such person in the history during the time of the Buddha is Rattapad. He was a young man who listened to the Buddha first time, and he understood that this life is such that I should not waste time for anything like other young people. He demanded his parents that I please give me permission to go to become a monk because I do not see any value of this life with material things. That is because he cleared his path. And because of that, he was able to attain full enlightenment within a couple of weeks. So when you know the path, when you taste the path, when you clear the path, it would not be that difficult for you to bring samatha into its completion as well as vipassana. For us, perhaps I may be wrong. Perhaps we haven't developed the path. We haven't seen the path yet. Maybe the theoretical understanding is with us, but the Chintame Panya, the second stage, second type of wisdom, and the third type of wisdom would not be that developed, so that we are still hanging on in this life. But if we have found, if we have tasted the magga, we would go. Actually, by saying that, I do not deny that many of us have found the path. Of course, when with regard to Mahachattarisaka Sutta, we have been practicing the Noble Eightfold Path in the mundane sense. Perhaps some individuals in this group are closer to Sotapanna state or any other state. I do not know. I believe that it is there. So, talking in general sense, I would say that many have not come to the path, because coming to the path happens to many, all of us, when we clear the two vehicles to practice the Noble Eightfold Path, Samatha and Vipassana. That is what Venerable Ananda said, according to my understanding. So, back to the fourth point, those who have Dhamma knowledge, of course, hold treasure-like things in their mind, but some social factors that are related to monastic or lay life can hold them not getting into Samatha and Vipassana. However, they have a great chance in getting into Samatha and Vipassana, like the other three ways we discussed already, and they would attain enlightenment. So Venerable Ananda concluded the discourse, whatever bhikkhu or bhikkhuni friends, whatever bhikkhu and bhikkhuni has declared the attainment of arahantship in my presence has done so by these four paths or by a certain one among them. It says that that either path is okay. However, the length of practice would be different with the speed of the path and also the personal nature. Right? Ubato Bhaga Vimutta and Panya Vimutta, and in Anguttara Nikaya section number 7, we have seven type of people, as I remember, depending on their practice. Again, some people take both Samatha and Vipassana together, or one practice in the beginning they practice all Cheto Vimutti, and then they do insight also. Some people, some monks and nuns and lay people are there who never practice samadhi into that extent, and they, however, manage to destroy craving and attain arahantship. So there are such categories. So friends, that is the discourse completely. What implies this discourse is 10 fetters and underlying tendencies. Sakkaya Ditthi, self-view or wrong view on the body, on oneself, and Vichikicha and wrong practices and rituals, and sensual desire, and ill will, then desire for form and formless state, and conceit and restlessness and avijja. These are the 10 fetters. As you already know, 3 fetters could be broken down completely to make sure the first level of enlightenment, sotapanna, and destroying the first 3, and taking majority of the 4th and 5th one, is the path, is the way to attain to second stage of enlightenment, Sakadagami. And then the one who attained to Anagami level destroy the first 5 fetters, Orambagya Sangyodana, and the one who attains to Anagami level should work on destroying the higher fetters, starting from desire for form and formless and so on. So this is how the scale is going on. And when you destroy fetters in such a way, respectively and relatively, underlying tendencies are also gone. Kama raga, raganusaya, bhavaraganusa, avijjanusaya, vichikichanusaya, dittanusaya. I think I missed 1 or 2. Anyway, there are 7. So they are also going away from you. When you attain to full enlightenment, nothing is there in that person's mind. So that is particularly the discourse. So we have Pial, Dr. Pial with raised hand. So you can take your time to speak. And everybody else is also invited to ask questions and comments and add to the discussion. Dr. Pial?
Bante, the first one is when you say Samatha comes first, I believe, before Vipassana. Say the other translation I was looking at, Bante Sudha's source, it says the mendicant who develops serenity before discernment as the first one. So I think
did I say the other way around?
Yeah, but it's okay.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, the first one is Samatha. Yeah, you are right.
Because that makes sense, because even Satipatthana, I guess we are going into more Samatha at the Kayanupassana, like Anapanasati, I'm developing jhana, so more Samatha, and then into inside the Manupassana at the end. So maybe that's more kind of common method. Maybe Vipassana is like some people more into dry insight or whatever, the Burmese method, where they get into Vipassana in a big way, and maybe they can arrive at serenity. I mean, people who are analyzing, and it's called, people have what's called Dhamma, Saddhanusari, there's Dhammanusari people, more like analyze, people who have more analytical mind, they get into more Vipassana and get into Samatha. So we can use both. And the last one is the confusing one with the reduction of also in that, also I have a question on that, because Bhikkhu Bodhi, kind of when it comes to that, he says, according to Bhikkhu Bodhi, he says in his, I think, footnotes, footnote 862, it says, I understand the person being described here is as a practitioner who reflects deeply on the Dhamma, acquires a sense of urgency, and finally settles down and gain insight when meeting the favorable supporting conditions. So insight, so the restlessness is a form of maybe restlessness to realize, like the eager desire, like a kind of like swimming very fast, like, in other words, and sometimes you can get drowned. So I think there are a couple of sutras, I think also Buddha warns here, I think maybe related to that. Remember the sutra called urgent duties of a farmer, but you do 3 things first, sila, samadhi, prajna, but you can't pull the crops the next day. You just have to wait. And also another one with the chicken or hen incubating the eggs. So you can't say, may my eggs be incubated right now. The chicklings come out right now, but You have to, sometimes when you're restless, I guess the desire or the eagerness. Also, remember the last one we discussed, the other sutra we discussed last time. It also said desire for Dhamma, Pali Dhammanu, Dhamma
Raga
Raga,
and Dhamma Nandi.
Dhamma, yeah, that may prevent the destruction of strength, taints. Again, that is a desire to get into the release in a very forceful way, might be a hindrance too at the end. Maybe this is a more subtle form of kind of a thing, I believe, but I don't know. What your take on this?
Thank you, Dr. Pial, for saying that. The first thing you said, according to many people's nature, Samatha should come first. Because many people need to get into the Dhamma, and if we teach dry insight techniques, I think that doesn't looks good. Look at the Buddha's way of explaining Dhamma for people who have not done anything. Dana kata, sila kata, sagga kata, kamanang adinawang okarang sankilesang. Then so many people are not ready yet for taking that deep sense of Dhamma, so that one has to take people down into the stage where they can accept the fact that. So with that in mind, I would agree with you that Samatha technique should come first, and if for many people, and by mistake I think I explained the Vipassana Ubbangama Samatha first, but anyway, according to the discourse, what you said is right. And you talk about the fourth one, and what Bhikkhu Bodhi said. Yes, if you have a Anguttara Nikaya translation, you could find what exactly Bhikkhu Bodhi says under the section you mentioned, number. Yeah, I asked these same questions from Bhikkhu Bodhi in person, and he said the same thing. It is legitimate what he said, because when you practice meditation and you have come to a level, for example, Sotapanna state, so now you are in utter blissful state. You are certain that you have crossed over some problems, difficulties, and on the other side you see the perfect sanctuary for you, so that you are enjoying that. You might not everybody who attend to Sotapanna, not everybody who attend to any stage of enlightenment, but some characters might stay enjoying that pleasure, which makes their mind restless. And as you said, some people, even happen to those people that talk to us. You are in a urgency of attaining enlightenment. You have tasted it in some way or the other. Now you want to get into full enlightenment. Sometimes if you have samadhi, you feel that you are in an enlightened state. So because it's so peaceful, and you've somehow found out that you are not, because of some shortcomings. So next day you might be working so hard to bring your mind into samadhi, and you are in a hurry to do that. So restlessness would be the result. And Bhikkhu Bodhi explained that very clearly when he explained it, that would be the Dhammuddacca Viggahicha Manasam, because with the Pali term it comes very well, Dhamma Uddacca Viggahita Manasam. So you have some Dhamma in mind, and that Dhamma elements has made you restless with connecting to the final goal. I agree with what you said, and I agree with what Bhikkhu Bodhi says. It could be because in the commentaries, in sub-commentaries, in other interpretation, this has not been talked much, so that we have this one or two ideas. I think I go with Bhikkhu Bodhi. I go with what you said.
There's another option, another idea by the Thanissaro Bhikkhu. He says this Dhamma this word manam. He says manam is like is also described as from conceit or overestimation of oneself, and maybe that kind of stops the path there. With it could be a corruption of insight.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it could turn into mana and any corruption, because if you let your mind stay away from the Noble Eightfold Path, either because of so much happy state, so much happiness, you could experience restlessness based on mana, based on any other. The silver line for us is that those who attain to any stage of enlightened, like Sotapanna second, they never come back. But those who below that, the Dhamma, that urgency of attaining enlightenment might go wrong. Right?
So my last question is: could this be the last, the two, one of the one before last two fetters, that is Uddhacha and Mana?
Yeah.
Are they the two fetters to release the last two fetters to go, or maybe not? I mean, I don't know. That's my kind of thinking.
Yeah, that should be thought about more.
Yeah.
Actually,
yeah.
what you said is interesting. Yeah. So we have avijja too. You know, avijja is a scattered.
Yeah, that's a big
unwholesomeness with everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, mana uddhacha actually, to me, when you attain to fourth jhana, which is the perfect mental state, perfect mental state for destruction of craving, destruction of fetter, there you don't have that restless mind. Temporarily it's gone 100%. But with first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, you have that samadhi, of course, but it would be easier for anyone to do the destruction of fetters when he or she attains to, when you attain to fourth jhana. So look at the fourth jhana is the Buddha's mind when he was in the fourth jhana as unenlightened bodhisattva. Evaṁ samahite chitte mudubhute kammaniye anenjapatte. Those are the words he used to describe the bodhisattva's mind. Evaṁ samahite chitte. When the mind is concentrated into the fourth jhanic experience, mudubhute kammaniye, his mind has experienced that they call soft nature into enlightenment. Your mind has turned and sharpened into that state, and kammaniya mudubhute anenjappate. No, nothing could be shaken that mindset. No hindrances at all to attack to that particular mindset, because you have gone to that level of samadhi, fourth jhana. That's why it is called imperturbability is attained. Sunyata, kind of sunyata, very powerful sunyata is there, and upekka is there. So I think the fourth jhanic experience would be much, much higher. So restlessness and what do you call uddhacha mana are not present very much there with the fourth jhana, and also into a greater extent in the third jhana. Sorry. What you said is really interesting. And having said that, I just want to bring this story of two brothers, and that shows Dhammuttacha Viggaicha into a certain extent. Two brothers went to meditation in a forest area closer to a river, and the big brother is meditating well. Actually, they discussed that we should not talk each other unnecessarily, except those necessary things. But it is also after 1 week. In other words, both brothers made kutis in a close vicinity. They can see each other from distance, but they agreed not to talk always, but just one day for 2 or let's say 2 hours, they meet to discuss about their meditation or anything else related to their life. So after a couple of weeks of meditation, the younger brother, now big brother sees younger brother is not good according to his observation. His skin is pale color now, and type of restlessness is always there in the face with different attitudes. So, but the big brother didn't ask any questions about that. He kept it in mind and departed to Kotis, and next week they met each other for weekly meeting. Actually, these two went on Pindapatha in the nearby village and together, but none of them talked. So they practiced complete silence. So after in the second week, the big brother asked, "What is the problem you have? I can observe that you are not yourself. So is there anything that you bother about?" So then younger brother did not say anything. Then next week the situation is really bad. Then the big brother said, "Don't hide any those problems you have. If you have any, share it with me. Perhaps I can give you a solution." No, nothing wrong with me. I do as I can. So then he didn't tell anything. The fourth week, the big brother did not go away during the discussion. He said that until you say your problem, I don't leave you, because your complexion is different, your attitudes has been dramatically changed. I don't think you meditate well. Then this person said that, this is a long story in short. The kuti, the younger one, meditated is closer to the river, and there is a big serpent come from the water every day at a certain time and coil me like this and put his head on my head and stay around 1 hour or so and leave me. Earlier, it was so terrible for me, but I didn't tell it to you because I did not want to disturb you. But when I see the serpent, big serpent, emerge from the water, my body is started shaking and I cannot meditate. And that thought, even if the snake left me, I could not meditate well. I still remember this coiling and keeping my body warm, and there is nothing harm, but this serpent, this snake is doing that always. I didn't tell it to you because you, I have compassion for you, and I let you meditate well for enlightenment. Then I could not meditate well. I could not concentrate well for days and week. Now fourth week. What I did in meditation is only restless mind. I experience only restless mind. I experience only disturbed mind. I cannot sleep well. I cannot eat well, and whatever I eat, I think are not digested well. That's why you see me in this way. Then the big brother uh, explained the solution. Okay, next day when the big snake appear in front of you, suppose you see him emerge from the water, asked that snake, that big cobra, the gem that usually he hold on to. I don't know whether Derek is familiar with this kind of stories, but back from Sri Lanka and in the Asian culture, we have snake, and I haven't seen it personally, but people talk in. There are many stories that the naga or the serpent has a shining gem in his head. So big brother advised the younger one to ask that gem of the snake when the snake emerged from the water. Oh, sorry, I mean, it is I made a mistake of the story. So when the snake comes, big brother asked, when the snake comes, when he started coiling and finish it, the snake kept the head of the snake on your head, ask the gem, and the next day change the way of asking of the time. So then next day, younger brother started meditation in the morning, and then the snake came and coiled and put the head on the brother's head, and he asked, can you give me please your gem? I like to keep it. Then immediately after, the snake uncoiled and left. The snake did not like the idea of giving the gem to this mendicant. Next day, the brother advised the younger one, ask the coil when the snake came and started coiling. So the younger brother did that. Then the snake did not coil and left. And the next day, following day, the younger brother asked when the snake came in. Then the snake did not come even closer to the younger brother, and he left. The snake left. And gradually, the big brother advised the younger one, when the snake emerged from the water, ask the gem. So snake did not come after that. This shows that even the snake does not like when people request for material things. So there are some people who like that. If you are stingy and when somebody come and ask you something, you don't like those people. So the snake did not come at all. So big brother advised the younger one, and younger one did that, and that's the problem is gone. Okay. This is a story about restlessness. That's why I told you. Now the problem is solved apparently, but the younger brother showed physically unstable, and pale color is always there. His body reactions and behavior is not that pleasant to big brother. Then the next week, after a couple of weeks of this problem solved, big brother asked during the meeting, what happened to you now? Now you don't have the problem of the snake, and what? Venerable sir, my big brother, now my mind is restless because the snake doesn't come. Earlier, I had a point every day that the snake come and coil me, even in the evening time, in the afternoon, at night. I have idea that snake comes or tomorrow it's come. But now my mind is disturbed and restless because I don't see the snake. Actually, this is a story from I think Zen Buddhism also. I don't know the source of it. The story tells that how people become restless. Even when you have no problems, you experience restlessness because you think that I don't have problem. When those people who are in higher jhanic experiences might experience restlessness if they do not understand that particular state of mind. So this story could be useful for other reasons, other purposes as well. But I want to show you that restlessness might come when you do not have any problems at all. So I think Dhammuddacca Viggahita Manasang would be that. And also, when you have so much knowledge in mind, you feel confidence that you know, and that confidence make you restless too. You are not going to experience any samadhi, any so that panya, the higher level of panya is missing you. In Samadhi Bhavina Sutta and also other suttas where samadhi is talked about, Buddha said, Samahitan Chittang Yata Bhutam Pajanati. Monks, when concentrated, Yata Bhutam Pajanati, the things as they are is visible and up to the point. In other words, with samadhi experience, you can practice, we can develop wisdom very well and up to the point. So wisdom in Dhammapada, as we oftenly quote, Natti janang apanyasa panyanati ajayato yami jananja panyancha save nibbana santige. Natti janang apanyasa. Without wisdom, there is no concentration. No wisdom without concentration. If one practices both together, he is the one who gets closer to nirvana. So with that in mind, we can say both samatha and vipassana should be practiced by everyone. Perhaps your starting point would not be vipassana, but you have to address that. You have to get it. You have to develop skills on vipassana in order to break those mountain-like cravings. So giving dana, doing puja, helping other people with anything you can, provide us very clear ground for us to practice samatha and as well as vipassana. So, but anyway, some people who haven't absorb the message of the Buddha with samatha and vipassana come to meditation directly, and they haven't started generosity as it is, and also sila and other practices. So they think that just meditation on the sitting cushion with the subject of meditation makes them complete. But for such people, I want to say that the mundane practices like giving, donations, charity, and helping your parents, respecting your spouses, and living peacefully with children provide you some sort of elements of samatha. Unless you have such a peaceful background, you cannot do it. Of course, you can, but you have to fed up your life with those things and let go of all these, like Patachara, Kisagotmi, and some people who lost their loved ones can find the path to serenity and also particularly insight. But many people should focus doing their duties and responsibilities without any mistakes, and then even with mistakes, make sure that you are not doing it, and then slowly, gradually, they clear their mind from sila, and it is the open door for samatha, and you are in samatha. So the technique of samatha brings samadhi as result, and technique of vipassana brings panya as the result. So two processes and two results. What are the two processes? Samatha and vipassana, and the results of two processes are samadhi and panya. So decide which one you can do better. It is up to you. Samatha pubbanga vipassana, or vipassana pubbanga samatha, or yuganadha, or perhaps you may be experienced in the fourth one, according to our explanation. So that's what I wanted to add at last. And if you have any concern or any questions or any additions, please take your time. It's 9:20 now. Until you get ready for anything you want to say, I just want to invite everyone to bring suttas like Derek or Dr. Bial. Anyone is welcome. And if you do not have such things to do, you can write your own explanations, different Dhamma facts, if you have time, and share with me, and I will share them with the group, so that everybody else benefit from it. If you do not have anything to add or any questions, I would finish today's Sutta study class. It is so nice to have you in presence in this class. Your presence in this class encourage us to find more elements of the Dhamma in discourses and discuss and analyze and share. I think these kind of discussions help us complete our training one day, and I am indebted to you because of that. And those who have questions and different concern, I appreciate them. And at last, those good thoughts we develop in the Sutta study class, turn them as merits and also skillful thoughts, and may we all be able to attain nirvana by the power of those merits and kusala chitta, skillful thoughts. And those divine beings who listen to our Dhamma discussion, Sutta discussion, and also departed relatives, may they also be well, happy, and peaceful, and may they make sure to attain nirvana as a result of these meritorious powers.
Sadhu,
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.